Okay, I think we're live.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Unprinted Pages. And this episode, we get to have Elizabeth Devecchi, and she is such a great author. She catches in her story, is able to display to you the emotions, and you can feel the emotions of each of the characters as they are going through the situations, whether it be, oh no, what the heck are they going to do to my brain whenever they take me into that room, or what is that creature, why is it got my son? So my biggest question to start with, you've probably been asked a million times, were you originally like a creature horror movie fan, or was it the books? What got you like started on creature horror?
So mostly I would say books. I did go to some horror movies way before I should have, because we had a family friend who was supposed to take us to see, like, it was like Herbie and the Love Bug or something at the drive-in, but veered off to screen number two where they were playing Magic, and then, which is really scary if you've not seen it, and then another one, Phantasm. But I like all kinds of horror books, psychological horror books. The Creature came about because of the situation. I like creature features, but this one just came about because of the situation, because in the first chapter of the book is actually what happened. I was walking my dog and he suddenly would not go, and he still won't go anywhere near storm drains. So in my brain, it was like, what could be down in the storm drain? And then I thought, maybe it's a creature, and it just went from there.
That is so cool. And Dante, the picture of the dog that the book is based on is behind this beautiful lady. Are did he have, sorry, my brain is still tripping on getting over the flu.
The
Um
flu.
were a lot of the fears mainly from him, or from other pets that you have that you gave Alvis?
He is our quirkiest pet, and I would be walking him one day, and it would be the trash bins were open and the thing was flopping against the trash can, or Halloween decorations are out. He's a rescue dog, so we don't know what he went through before he got to us. But he's also the sweetest dog. He's just not very crowd friendly, which is why I have fake Dante there, he travels with me to book signings and things because real Dante gets nervous with new people, and he's an 80-pound dog, so he can be pretty
Oh
scary if
yeah,
he wants to.
he's a big baby.
Yes.
Um, what was your favorite part about researching all the creatures all the creepy crawlies that you've added in your stories and
So
how
I
they linked into the monster as well?
I used my son for that. So he has always been a naturalist, environmentalist, and when he was little, I remember we were in New York, sorry, the Natural Museum of Science, the one that's in the movie too. I can't think of the name with Ben Stiller, but um, and we were looking at, I was with my cousin, and we were looking at these creatures from afar, and he's just a little kid, like 4 or 5 years old, and he would point and say, "That's a da 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 da," and we kind of look at each other like, "Yeah, right." And then we'd go up and read the sign, and it was exactly what he said it was. So he has known since he was very small that that is what he wants to do in life. And when I had questions about creatures, I would just ask him. So,
That is awesome. I totally agree. My little Dante, and yes, guys, it I don't know how we did this, but my 5-year-old Dante, he's so observant. He's sitting there, he's listening to his science classes, and then later he's like, "Look, mommy, that thing does this and this. Isn't it so cool?" And I'm like, "Wow, you did pay attention to science class, buddy. Mommy is so proud." 'Cause he's sitting there
yeah.
playing with his blocks, but he's, like, catching everything.
Oh yeah, that's their little sponges. And he went in school, in elementary school, I remember helping him with the spelling test, and he's having trouble with the word because, but then he spells pterodactyl. I'm like, okay, this is not a spelling issue. It's a I'm not interested in that word issue.
Yeah, basically, and, I think all my kids are like this, like, "Well, I'm not exactly interested in that," and I'm like, "But we need to learn it."
Exactly, exactly. But it was cool to research using, being able to show that with my 15-year-old. So he helped with all the creature stuff.
That is cool. You have, 3 anthologies, I think it is, out, and your own book. You're going to have a 4th one soon, or am I
So
miscounting?
Okay, so the first thing I was ever published in was an anthology, and that was to benefit to try to stop domestic violence against women
Mhm.
across the world, and that's called Under Her Eye. That came out, I think, in
Oh,
2023. So that was, and then I also I did the Monsters in the Mills, Wicked Universe, and there was a cookbook for books of horror called Cooks of Horror, and
oh,
that was a recipe and a little, like a flash fiction, just a couple lines type thing. So there's a few out there, and there's another one coming out in the summer with Running Wild Press. I don't have a cover for that one yet, and this one's coming out in March. The
okay, so
Screams from. So there's a few out there that may not be. If you go onto my website, elizabethdevecchi.com, they're all there, except for the
okay,
latest one that's coming out in March because I just found out this morning what the cover looks like. So I haven't had time to put that one
okay.
up yet.
Um, with the different stories I've read, except for, like, one of them, they're all different compared to the others, but the one in, Wicked Universe, is a prequel to Whisper in the Dark. What
Yes.
has been, like, your favorite part of researching to create your worlds for these stories?
So I tend to fall into many a rabbit hole and then end up wanting to either start a new hobby or something like that. Like for example, the camper that's in the book and in the short story, the VW pop top camper. We had
Uh-huh,
one of those when I was growing up. So I remember that's why I put it in. I remembered all the good times we had traveling in the pop top camper, and I wanted to include that. And uh trying to think what else was. So in my second book, and I do have a novel coming out in April with Wicked
Ooh.
House Press, and that's called A Twist of the Lens, and that has a motorcycle. It has a 1952 Indian Roadmaster motorcycle in it, so I had to do a lot of research on that, and probably my favorite, and now I want one, obviously. My third novel, which is further down the line, there was a camera from World War II. Now I want one of those. So I like doing the research online, but I also like seeing and actually touching, if I can, the things that I'm researching. For example, the motorcycle, there is a dealer that's not too far from us, so I went and talked to them, and they gave me some great pointers on the
Ooh.
motorcycle. But so that was a lot of fun to research.
Has your research taken you to places you'd never expected?
Maybe I don't know, not so much the research, though I do have to stop myself sometimes because I will start going down the rabbit hole and I do need to write the actual book while I'm doing the research. But maybe not so much that as the characters have taken me in directions I haven't expected while I was writing, which I find extremely cool because when that happens, you know that your story has come to life.
Oh yeah, it's just a feeling. You're sitting there writing, and you're like, I didn't expect this to go this way. Where are they taking me? Oh wow, you actually
Exactly.
feel that way? How did we get here?
Right, or, "Oh my gosh, she grabbed a gun." She wasn't supposed to do that.
Dude, I was just like thinking, it's like that is one of the most kick ass things I've ever seen. She's like, "Eh, oh my god, I know what that bulge is. I need to do something now. That's why they're acting funny."
Yeah, not planned, not planned, just kinda went with it.
And if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, go read her stuff. I promise you will not be disappointed because I just did a binge and yes, of what I could buy like straight out or she'd given me. I'm like, okay, I got to reread this to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, yes, people must read her because she is great. Elizabeth
Thank
Debicki
you.
will be your new favorite horror author. Just give her a try. Um,
Thank you.
in Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to gather everything again. Um, what where has been your favorite place to write whenever you get off and going?
So I'm very itchy. So I move around a lot. I have, sometimes I'm at the kitchen table if there's stuff I need to kind of oversee while there. Sometimes I'm up in my desk, which is where I am now. I go to coffee shops, the library. I do have a couple local coffee shops that I really love to write in. One is called Convict Coffee, and one is called
Ooh.
Perfect Blend, and they're just good places to write. I find I can concentrate there. And then today I was writing. My daughter works at a restaurant down the street, and I was writing at the restaurant today. It's just, I need to move around. I also have one of those mobile desks that's on wheels, so I can wheel it
Uh-huh.
into the kitchen or wherever I want to go. But I am not good at sitting in one place and writing for long periods of time.
That I understand. Um, that's one of my next favorite questions to ask. What is your favorite coffee?
So this is actually a really rough question because I can't drink coffee right now, and I love
Ooh.
coffee. Um, I like I like making like an espresso with coffee that we grind. I just add sometimes I add honey, and sometimes I'll add sugar and some foam, like make a cappuccino or a latte.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I am a big macchiato fan.
Yes, and it's been 2 weeks since I could have a coffee, so I'm hoping I can get back to my coffee soon.
Oh, I hope so too, because it's kind of hard when it's like one of your favorite drinks and you just can't.
It is.
But I
It's
could
very tough, and I also get migraines if I don't have the caffeine in the morning, so I have, like, some strong teas that I have been drinking, and so far so good, but I really would like to get back to my coffee.
oh, I totally understand that, but as a reader, I could tell you love your coffee.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Um, before you became a writer, what or, what led up to, the want to write? Was there a person that inspired you or books that you enjoyed?
Um, I I've always loved kind of like the dark, twisty books. Even when I was a kid, I read a lot of Lois Duncan and books like that. Then I wandered into my parents' furnace room, and that's where the good books were in the shelves in the furnace room in the basement. And so I found Omen and Carrie and books like that. And when I was homesick, I found this movie called The Nanny. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a Betty Davis.
Mhm.
And then I hunted down the book and I found that there's a book and things like that. So I've always liked writing, but life kind of got in the way. So would write little stories. I have notebooks full of things, and then I I don't know, I really wanted to scratch the itch a little more, so I started a blog. So I had a blog called The Moon, the Sun, and Little Man, and it was mostly kind of quirky things that happened with the kids and myself. And then I was walking my dog, and he did his little freak out at the storm drain, and I kind of said to myself, if I don't do this now, when am I going to do this? So I submitted some stories to poems, and some of those got accepted, and then finished the novel and submitted it.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
Mhm.
Faycore will probably definitely accept any of your poems or stories. But, what has been your favorite horror character then?
In books, or I don't know. I don't really have a favorite because there's so many different kinds. Like I loved The Nanny, um, because I love the way that she can that Betty Davis can, even just like with a flare of her eyes, completely freak you out. And the little boy was creepy, like the perfect kind of creepy. So I like the horror characters that are normal people, but not. Like I'll have fun and watch a Jason or Freddy Krueger, things like that. But my favorite
Mhm.
horror characters are the ones that you don't expect to be horror characters.
Where when you
Like
get to the twist, it's just like,
you
"Huh?"
could meet them on the street. Like you're not gonna run into Freddy Krueger, hopefully, on the street. But that guy that you do run into the street, he could be, one of the other characters that you wouldn't expect to be a horror character and turns out to be.
Oh, yeah, but, I tend to run into Jason and Michael often, but then again, my mother-in-law named her kids Jason and Michael,
Jason
so what are you gonna do?
Exactly, exactly.
Um, that I like that. The person you don't expect, and then out of nowhere, it's like, "Oh, no. What have I got myself into?"
Mhm.
Where is the place you hope to find yourself writing next? Is there like
Uh,
a special town you hope to set something in, or a city, or is there like a special like horror setting that don't that you've come up with?
so I do have something that will be coming up aside from this short story that comes out in March that takes place in Italy, and I would love to get over there to do a little more research. But for one reason or another, we haven't been able to. The last time my husband went to visit his family over there, I had COVID, so I couldn't go. So one thing or
Oh,
another has kept me from going, but I really want to get back over there to do some more research. I do. want to do a little more. I think the next book might be set in New England because that is where I grew up, let's say K through 12.
Uh-huh.
And most of the stuff I've written now has been later life experience. So Indiana, Texas, Colorado, those kinds of settings. The second book that's coming out in April, that is in the mountains for a bit too of Colorado. But
Oh,
I do want to set something in New England because I had a lot of spooky experiences in New England. I was there as a child, from K through 12. So I
oh,
need to get back there.
those will be so much fun. And I am currently in Texas.
Oh,
So,
okay. I was in McKinney, Texas.
oh, okay. I'm over in Newton,
Okay. And
ways
that's,
away.
by the way, that is where what I based the town that the Parkers are in, that Sam is in, is based on McKinney and the little stream that was down the street from us.
Okay, that is awesome to know because I'd been
Mhm.
wondering where in Texas is this? And now I know that is cool.
Yeah.
Um, what what have you learned from characters that you've written as you've seen their story progress?
So one thing I learned, which my 23-year-old actually pointed out to me, is that I tend to give my characters, especially my favorite ones, I tend to give them my defects and turn them into superpowers. So, for example, with the mom, she has an inner ear condition that I have, but it makes her able to hear the creature or things like that. She gets the vibrations or whatever. I had a character that I was writing for a YA novel, which I haven't finished yet. She gets migraines, but they're not really migraines. They're actually, a way she can see into a different dimension type thing. So I've noticed that I do tend to give characters some flaws. Scars that I have usually end up on one of my characters, but for a way cooler reason than I have them for. So I have noticed that I tend to do that with my characters.
Oh, but there's like so many things. That's so creative. It's like Jacob's scar. It
I have
helps
that
him
scar.
feel it. You have that scar.
I do have that for a very different reason, obviously, but I do have that scar, and I don't know. It makes me feel. I don't know if it makes me feel better, but to me, it makes the characters feel more real because it's
Oh yeah.
something that comes from reality.
That's what I was talking about. You could feel the realness in what was happening. You could feel the fear in Sarah. You could feel the fear in I cannot remember her name for the life of me. The one in the code book where her husband has sold her out to be
Oh,
uploaded
the
into the
writer.
computer.
Yes, the writer, which right now my brain has also been fried because I did have a migraine earlier. But yes, she and actually somebody who interviewed me told me that one of the things that really touched him was the little boy when the girl gave him the phone number, and he's telling his dog, "Oh, she gave me your number," something like that. So I think that when you write realistic characters, you don't know what is going to touch a person and what a person is going to relate to. And to me, it is really cool when someone says, "Oh my gosh, this really spoke to me." And I could feel like it felt like when I was a kid, or it felt like when I was afraid, or I find that I love that.
I do too. Do you plan on breaking the fourth wall in other books?
So I don't want to give too much of the second novel that I wrote it's a standalone. It's completely different from the first one. It is a completely different point of view. It's a completely different and anytime I can, I do like to break the fourth wall, but
Oh
I
yeah.
can't. I don't want to give anything away because I know they're going to be announcing soon, and it has an awesome cover. We just did the cover. love the cover, and that will be revealed soon.
Okay, that's fine. I just wondered if this is a thing you're gonna continue finding ways to do because I'm reading and
Could
I'm
be,
and
could
you're
be.
talking about jumping points of view, her jumping points of
Hmm.
view, and I'm like, aha. You're
Well, also, the second and the third novel have time jumps too. Like they
oh,
have so, and I can't say too much about that either because there's going to be an announcement about that as well. But I like, let's say I like experimenting with different ways of writing.
and there's yes, please don't stop. That's what I've been trying to do. I write ghosts. That is like my favorite thing to write. And then I started playing D&D and then they asked me to write D&D-esque stories, fantasy
Hmm.
stories, and I'm like, "Now I have to figure out what this gnome is going to do." And that has been like
Go for
so
it.
hard, but I don't think the stories have turned out bad. So
Hmm.
I get that. Just jumping around and trying to figure out what
Yeah,
you because you don't need to be defined by a genre.
exactly. Or even a way to write. Like, it doesn't always have to be third person past tense. It doesn't always have to be first person. Like, you can play around with it. And sometimes it doesn't, like, sometimes a certain style just doesn't fit with the story I'm trying to tell. So
Mhm.
I'll try something else instead.
That is awesome. Are you going to put out a story collection in the future?
Oh, I don't know because I do have, like every writer, I've had my fair share of rejections, and it kind of makes me a little sad that I have my little orphan stories that don't have a home yet. And I might eventually do that, but right now, probably not because I have two anthology stories that I have to write. I think one is due end of March and one is due in May. And then I'm trying to write the fourth book. And that's going to take a lot too. And then PS, life is also continuing around me. So I'm driving
Oh
kids here
yeah.
and there. And so I don't, sadly don't have the luxury of just saying, I'm taking the day off and just writing.
Oh
So
no, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a kid that's like, "Hey, mom, I know you're busy, but," or the dog's gonna be
exactly.
like, "Please, can I go out and potty?"
Exactly. Or so I may eventually do a collection of stories, but for now I'm focused on two short stories and the fourth novel.
Okay. I am definitely not rushing. I just wondered if it would be a possibility because I love authors putting out their own collections and then you get to collect
Mhm.
them. And
I'm
it
thinking about it. That is definitely something that is back there. And I also had someone who was asking me if I could translate my book into Italian because a lot of my friends and my husband's whole family are Italian and don't necessarily read English. So I'm like, we got to slow down a little bit because I still have other stuff going on. So eventually, I mean, I have a whole bunch of stories, but I do look every once in a while to see if there's an anthology submission call that might fit one of my stories and see if I can tuck it in there. And by the way, that is what happened with the error code. That story was
okay.
originally, I sent it elsewhere and then I saw their submission call and I said, wow, this would fit perfectly.
Okay. Yes, that was amazing. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Um, what has been your favorite short story you've written so far?
Oh, okay. I don't like that's like picking your favorite child. I don't know.
Very true.
um, I really I enjoy them all for different reasons. The one that is coming out in March has a really special place in my heart because it has Italian and it has an Italian twist in it. The poem for Monsters in the Mills has a special place in my heart because I grew up shopping in the converted mills in Fall River, and that is kind of what inspired the poem in that. And I have a story that I absolutely love about a diner that's still looking for a home. So that one I do want to try to put in somewhere. I may have found a home for it, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. Um, I have one. The very first story that I got published was in an online journal called Aerial Chart. I love that one too. It's about hunting for, it's called The Hunt, and it's still out there floating in the ether. If you look my name up on the name of the story, The Hunt, you can find it. That one I really love because it talks about kind of like memory loss as you get older and trying to hunt for the words. So, and that's not horror. That one is just kind of a nice story. So I love them all. I can't pick one.
Oh, dude, that is such a beautiful thing to write about. I have grew up around nursing homes. Sorry, speech issues coming back for no reason at all. Nursing homes, and I have various members of my family has had dementia,
Hmm.
and the idea of people giving that a life and stories is so amazing.
Hmm.
I
And in this
appreciate
case, she's a writer who, and her grandchildren help her find the words when she needs them. So
that is beautiful.
thank you. And that one also has a special place in my heart because it was my first story accepted to be published. So that was nice.
I'm definitely going to want to find that later too.
Mm.
Which one of your characters would you like to, it can be from anything published or not published. Which one would you like to take out on a coffee date and just pick their brain?
Probably Mary from the one, because I mean, dangerous, yes, but also very interesting. And we will find out more about Mary in the future, and that's all I can say about that. But probably it
Oh,
would be Mary. Mary and Sarah, I'd take them out together. We'd go get coffee, all three of us.
oh yeah, I think they would enjoy time together, and then seeing
Yes,
Mary and Sam just going to the
yes,
creek and just hanging out.
exactly. Sadly, Princess would probably be there too, but it
Oh
would
yeah,
be nice to just have Mary on her own.
that would be, you have to get her while Princess is in her resting phase.
Exactly, exactly. Coffee time.
Oh yeah. And I just finished the book yesterday, so it's all really fresh in my brain. So,
Mhm.
um, where not where, what has been, your favorite lesson you've learned as an author?
Um, my okay, so my favorite lesson I've learned as an author, is a writing technique, and I'm trying to think of oh, yes. So there's a book called The INFJ Writer, and I am an INFJ personality. And the thing I learned from that book, which helped me the most to get through, to finish writing the longer stories as opposed to just short stories, is not to keep editing because that's it's like they were picking my brain when they wrote this book, the INFJ writer. One of the obstacles for my kind of writer is anytime I open the document, I want to go back and start from the beginning and edit and change and re-edit and change it. But if you do that, you are never going to finish writing the book, or you will maybe 10 years down the line. So the thing I learned from that, and I had to, it was hard at first, but I do it now. I don't go back. Just I tell my daughter the same thing. Vomit it all out onto the page, and then you can go back and you can edit the whole thing at once, but you finished. And also because I am one of my pet peeves when I read a book is like you get a really good book, right? And you're really into it and you're loving the story, and then they rush the ending because it almost feels like the author was like, I'm tired of writing this. Let's just wrap it all up, right? So generally, I'll get to about halfway through the book and then I'll write the ending. So, which, and it can change. Like it changed in A Whisper in the Dark because the character changed, but at least I have the ending written, and I can go back and change something that I sat and thought about and developed and wasn't just trying to finish writing this darn thing, you know? So that those are the two things that I do consistently now is I don't go back and edit. I just keep going. I may need to look at the last few sentences to remember where I dropped off if there's a pause between writing sessions, but I just get it all out there so I can arrange it later, and then I write the ending about halfway through the book.
There's been one book where I wrote the ending first because that came from a nightmare, and I'm like, this fits so well. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be the ending. Now I just have to figure out how we get here. So I
Mhm.
totally understand that. Um, what has been your least favorite thing about being an author?
My promotion,
Oh,
marketing.
that is
I
so
wish.
hard.
Yes, it is so hard. So initially, yeah, I just couldn't do videos. Like I don't like being on camera that much, though I've gotten used to it now. So that was really tough for me. The very first interview, doing a video, and now I feel I can do them with a little more confidence. And part of that is because of the condition I have. I sometimes I'll have a head wobble or something, and like maybe nobody else notices it, but I do. So I'll put a video out there, and then I'll never watch it again. uh, but
I'm a
making promotionals and I have fun. I don't know if you've seen my promos. They're all with animals and creatures. And so I had to have my 15-year-old son teach me how to use Canva so that I could start doing promotionals. But the marketing part, I love going out and meeting readers. I love being there in person, doing signings and stuff like that. It's just, making all the putting out all the commercials or whatever over and over again. Like I feel like, why am I bothering people? But that's why I try to make them fun. But definitely marketing is not, or let's just think, I didn't think about that when I was writing my first book. It was not in the picture.
Oh, yeah, I'm over here constantly moving and messing with my hands, but then again, um, also, I can honestly say, I have told you before how much I have enjoyed your marketing and I've shared it. Then I hope
Thank
you don't
you.
mind that I've like taken my favorite phrases from certain places, just like,
Oh
hey,
no,
this is so good. I love this. And then I put it on our page. But I
thank
made
you.
sure that everybody knew it was yours because, yeah, I'm not stealing your work. I'm just like,
No,
read
no,
this
thank
now.
you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I actually did, I've gotten into the Canvas stuff so much that my brother's he's a musician, he's a conductor, and he plays brass instruments. So he started this non-for-profit called, Historic Music of Newport, Rhode Island, which is near where we grew up. And he was like, "Hey, I'm doing a fundraiser or whatever. Can you do a promo for me?" So I, did something with the animals for his promo, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll throw in like a drawing for a free book when the book comes out and stuff like that." So there are times that I enjoy it, mostly if it's for other people. I enjoy it more than if it's for myself. But I'm trying to constantly come up with fun ways to just, not always be in somebody's face with just cover, 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 but to engage more. And the animals help me do that.
Oh, I do the same thing. I am constantly looking at I research book ads. Then I take what I've learned what I've seen in these book ads and I try to do the fake horror ones are mine
Hmm.
to like
Hmm.
resemble that, but also the style, but also be our stuff. So
Right.
it's so much fun though to make all the little
Yeah.
graphics or figure out how to like make the little things work.
Right.
It
No, that I am enjoying that. I will admit that. But a lot of the learning about how to do a this ad or how to do a that ad or a this promotion, not as enjoyable.
how many hours I spent just looking at book ads or looking at
Time you can't get back.
publishers. It's like, why is this so hard? And then you figure out all the hashtags and everything, and it's like, why is nobody noticing me? And why does it have to cost so much money to get it out there further?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's and if you think about it, I mean, if everyone just shared, like, so it would you wouldn't have to pay for the because each person, when they put something out, brings a whole bunch of different eyes to it. So I think it's cool that we can try to do it that way too. Sadly, the way they do the I can't think of the word,
Algorithm.
the way it's thank you, the way they do the algorithm, you in the end, they kind of force your hand, so
Hmm.
but we can try and try different
Oh
things. Like,
yeah.
I even had the dog and I'm gonna do this again. I had Dante do a drawing, I don't know if you saw that. Um, I didn't know whether he was gonna do it either because I was just doing like, "We're gonna video this, we're gonna see how it goes." So I had a big bowl with all the names for a drawing that we did for Books of Horror, and, he picked out a name and let me take it, and that was the winner. So I'm gonna do that again. I think once you try something like that and it works, now he may not cooperate this time, but I'm gonna try that again because that seemed to get a lot more eyes, so
Oh yeah. Because I can automatically tell you that Dante enjoyed looking at Dante because Dante gave Dante kisses.
Uh-huh. Aw. And he loves wearing like, I just bought his, Valentine's Day headband with the little hearts.
Oh,
I don't know why, but this dog loves as soon as he sees me take out one of the headbands with the reindeer horns or
uh-huh.
the little top hat, he comes over and he puts his head out to wear them. I'm not sure why, but okay, we'll go with that.
It makes him happy. Quirky
Yeah.
dogs are not a bad thing. My dog is like, I'm still trying to figure out my dog.
I think that's a lifetime job, figuring out the dog.
Oh yeah, but at least they give great cuddles.
Yes, yes, and he is a sweetheart. Like I said, he's afraid of strangers, but he is a very sweet dog. He's even brought live animals. He brought a mourning dove into our house, because it knocked itself out on our pool screen, and he brought I thought, "Oh my gosh, a dead bird." No, he very gently carried it into the house, protected it, and then the next day we released it and flew away. So he's gentle. He's just afraid of strangers, so
Oh, that's understandable. Whereas my cat
mhm.
will bring mommy dead things or live snakes before he passed away. It's
Yay.
like, "Here you go, mommy. I brought you a snake. I brought you a dead
Yay.
bird." It's like
Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving, and it's like, "All this food is being made. I should bring food too."
Exactly, you don't wanna come without something, that's rude.
And I'm like, thank you," because he just brought it over and put it with the other food. I was like, "This is supposed to be here, right, mommy?" "Thank you,
Oh,
baby."
yeah, our cat, when we lived
Good.
in Florida, he used to bring lizards in and release them in the house.
Oh, yeah, he's released
Mhm.
things in the house too, that was fun.
Yeah.
Um, what has been, like, the most, unexpected thing a character has done in one of your stories that you didn't know they were going to do?
Definitely the gun, but I won't say what happens, but it was definitely the gun.
Oh, yeah, but she
So
is one of the most badass moms that ever walked the book.
well,
I'm gonna
just
put that out
think,
there.
in the beginning, she was supposed to kinda be a background character.
Yeah,
So that dynamic completely changed while I was writing it.
and she's like, "No, I'm Mama Bear. We got
Exactly.
this." And she did a
Exactly.
very hard "we."
Yes. Yes, she did.
Um, okay, because I couldn't remember if I asked that during the show, because I know I asked it before, so if I asked
Mhm.
it earlier, I apologize. I'm just wanted to make sure I got it on the show because she is epic. She is one of the best moms.
She's
Um,
one of my favorite characters for sure.
the, okay, where was I going? What is your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert. Oh gosh, I like things that kind of have the salt and sweet
Mhm.
to them. So I like things with like salted caramel and things like that. I love Italian desserts because Italians know how to do dessert.
Oh, yes, they do.
So yes, the cannolis and the tiramisu and all of that. I love those too. But it's hard to pick one. It really is. I don't like things that are too sweet. I like the hint of the salt in there too, but, I'll eat pretty much any dessert you put in front of me. So my favorite
Good.
cake growing up was German chocolate cake.
Oh, I love German chocolate cake.
Mhm.
Mm.
That is my
Okay,
favorite, and my kids try to make it for me for my birthday, so
that is awesome.
mhm.
Sounds like you have awesome kids too.
Yes, I do. I do have awesome kids.
Um, what is your favorite date place for a restaurant?
Okay, so we don't generally go to Italian restaurants because we cook Italian at home. So we try different restaurants. We went to a really good Ethiopian restaurant on a date. Loved that. We also found, just by chance, we found a Peruvian restaurant that was
Oh,
awesome. So I think probably the favorite date place is finding new little gems of restaurants and trying them.
you hear that, guys? Relationship goals. Just having the want to try new things together and be together and do new things.
Mhm.
That is definitely one of my favorite things to do with Josh.
Yeah, no, we
Oh,
tried, let's see, the what was the other one that we went to that was really good? Um, I mean, we have been to some really good there was a North Italian restaurant because he's from Northern Italy, my husband is. So that was good, but generally we don't do that. There's a really good, Thai restaurant too that we went to that's downtown. They're amazing too, and I'm not saying we don't repeat sometimes, but we do like trying new ones.
and that is awesome. Not repeating is okay, repeating is okay. Going to the same restaurant each time is okay, but I can honestly say that is something that Josh and I love to do. This last time we tried a new Asian inspired restaurant that had showed
Mhm,
up in town since the last time he had been here, and that was definitely fun. So
mhm.
yes, I like that.
And
Um,
always ask the waiters because they know the best stuff on the menu.
yes, definitely. Um, hmm. Do you, have a favorite recipe that you like to keep remaking?
Oh, so I am known for my focaccia, which if you look in, and I don't think I have the book nearby because if I did, I could show you. No, I don't because it's a recipe book, so it's downstairs in the kitchen. But the books of horror, if you look in one of the index pages and then on my page where I have my stuff, there's a focaccia that I made with an onion skeleton under a flower bed. So I love making focaccias because you can make them into anything you want. Valentine's Day, make little hearts with tomatoes, something spooky, skeleton made out of onions and under a flower bed. I mean, I love making focaccia and I make it for my book club every month and I make it for my kids. So yes. And then every Christmas, my favorite recipe is Lebkuchen because my dad's part of the family is English and German, and my grandmother had this family recipe for Lebkuchen, which is it tastes a little bit like gingerbread, but it's not ginger, it has cloves in it. And
Oh,
every Christmas, I have to make a million of those because I give them out to everyone.
okay. That is most definitely something I need to try. I've never heard of that before.
That's really good.
Um, Sorry, I'm trying to go through the mental list of questions because I keep jumping every so often as we're talking. Um, where is the a place that you've said in your books that you hope to go back to in the future?
With another book? Um,
It can be with another book or to visit, just to visit in real life.
To visit? So I did, I would like to go back to, or actually I never went to the specific village, though I lived in the area. It's funny, you always find out these really cool places to visit after you've moved away. Because I lived in Torino, Turin, where the Shroud is, in northern Italy. And when I was researching to write the short story for the anthology that's coming out in March, and it's called Web of Truths is the short story. Um, I found a little village in Italy that isn't far from where my husband's family lived and where I used to live that I really want to visit now because I researched the heck out of it, saw pictures and everything. And now it's called Rifreddo. And now I just want to go there to visit and see it for myself.
That is awesome. That um this has been one of the cool things with authors. You're the first one I've talked to that has this much knowledge about Italy and has lived there and been there. And I'm just learning new and different things as we go, and I appreciate that, and I'm so excited.
Mhm.
Um okay, what is the one lesson that you if you were talking to a new writer that you would like them to start off learning?
That not to give up. Just because I think our brains are built to protect us, which is why when you start walking towards an edge of something, your brain's like, nope, back up. Or we went to Chicago and I tried to walk out onto that glass thing that's over
Mhm.
the city. And it's so hard to do it because your brain is stopping your body from doing it. So our brain is built to kind of protect us. That also, I find, is true for writing and creating and things like that. Your brain is like, oh, what if everybody doesn't like this? Oh, what if people think it sucks? So you tend to start questioning what you're writing while you're writing. Oh, this isn't any good. No, just keep going. Don't give up. Get it out there. And you're going to get rejections. Even if let's say you're really lucky and your first thing gets picked up and gets published, that doesn't mean your second one will be. So you've got to just keep plugging and keep sending things out. And if this is what you really want to do, keep at it. I mean, I'm finally got I wasn't writing for a while, but I got my first novel published at 53, almost 54.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but you said keep at it.
And just because I got published at 35 and she got published at 53, age does not mean, because some people don't even find what their true life goal is until they're
Mhm,
60. Please,
mhm.
guys, don't give up. And what you do is amazing because nobody else is like you. Because
Right. And
I
your story is your story. Just write it, get it out there.
exactly. I have not met anybody like Miss Elizabeth here, and you will probably not meet anybody as different as I have found myself to others, but that is not a bad thing. Um, what has been a mistake you've made that turned out to be like the best thing you've done in writing?
So, well, this almost turned out really bad actually. So, I learned as a new author not to use find all and correct because I initially in the book Whisper in the Dark, um, two of the characters had names that I started to think were too similar. So initially it was Ben, and the father's name was Bill. So I thought Ben and Bill too similar. Let's change that. So I went, find all change, and I almost submitted that to a publisher until I just kind of went over it one more time and realized that it changes all the bills to Greg. So, for example, we had a character who was going to pay their Gregs instead of their bills. And then we had window shears Gregoing in the wind instead of billowing in the wind. So, colossal mistake, always do things one at a time. The slow and sure wins the race, not quick and easy. So
That, yeah.
that would have been tragic. I just keep, the nightmare. It didn't happen, but what if it had? That it's still there. So I'm very careful now.
Oh yeah. And it just sticks. So you're more careful next time. And yeah.
Yes.
Um where is like um where was the place in all the stories that you've written so far where you're like, "Oh my god, this is it doesn't matter which one, but which one was the one where you're like, "Yes, this is what I am meant to do." What which one spurred that thought?
Well, I kind of have always known on some level that this is what I wanted to do, and this is how I don't know why it took me so long to get back to horror. Because when I was little, I think I didn't write horror when I was little. And then I'm looking through my notebooks and there's like a story about these cousins whose entire family died in a fire and and they're being chased. I'm like, that's kind of horror-ish for a child. And I loved reading Lois Duncan. So I don't know why it took me so long to realize. And with the storm drain and with that is when it hit me. I'm like, this is what I should be writing. So because it just feels, and the second book, it's not creature horror, it's more of it's like thriller, suspense, psychological horror.
Uh-huh.
So but it's still, we call it horror adjacent because some people only think that horror is, there has to be a creature or there has to be an axe murder or whatever, and it's not that. I like the psychological twists a little more. But it's when I was writing that, it just felt right, and I had been trying to write some other stuff that it maybe I'll try that a little bit later because I do like dabbling in different genres, but horror just felt like home.
Oh yes. And the I think the thing I've learned as I've talked to other horror authors that there are so many different types of horror. There's thriller horror,
Exactly.
there's mystery horror, there's body horror, there's
Hmm.
slasher. There's so many types of horror that you don't have to limit yourself, or you can have many different
Right.
types linked in one story.
Hmm. Exactly. And my favorite thing is when, because I don't, I don't generally I have the stripe or whatever, but that's actually my natural hair color. The rest isn't. But, I think it's hilarious when I meet someone new or we were at a car dealership, waiting for 'cause my somebody destroyed my husband's car and he had to get a new car. We're at the dealership and now you wait for hours and hours to buy a car nowadays. And the guy kind of didn't know what else to say. So like, oh, what do you do? And I said, I'm a writer. And immediately it's oh, let me guess, romance or cozy this. And I'm like, no, horror. And that it tickles me to do that to people. I'm like, no, no, I write. And then they kind of like, oh, horror? I'm like, yeah, that's what I write. And I
Whereas
have converted people. I've converted people because generally there are people who say, I don't read horror. And I always ask them, why don't you read horror? Oh, I don't like the graphic this. I'm like, that is not all horror. There's psychological horror, there's this and that. And I actually had a friend who initially said that she was going to buy the book to support me and put it up as like a trophy book on her mantle and then started reading it. And now, she enjoyed it. So
you sent me a message. I have written this horror book. Do you are in the group of people to read it?" And I'm like, "Please? Thank you." And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, "You have so many wonderful things. I can't wait till I can buy the others and you can and I get to see what you do next."
Thank you.
Um I didn't know if you were if the hour was okay if you were okay with the hour and a half. I forgot to
Oh,
ask
I'm
that
good with
earlier.
anything. I'm good with
Okay,
anything. I'm here.
you're here? Okay, because I don't wanna be, like, insulting, and I should have asked this before the show, but I was, like, trying to, make sure you're okay with everything, but okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Uh,
I've got my son is off at a pet band for basketball or something like that. So, and my daughter's writing and watching the dog. So everybody's cool now.
everybody's copacetic, and they seem to
Yep.
still be copacetic. Daddy's home, everything's good.
Perfect.
Um, okay, when writing, are you, the type of writer that will write all the way through, or do you write, like, different scenes and then you come back and you put them all together in the story?
Aside I mean, occasionally I'll write a scene if it comes to me and maybe I'm not where I can like, for example, when I had COVID and was in a complete fever dream, but I couldn't, you get the headache. I couldn't look at a screen. So I took a notebook and I was just writing away in this notebook and it was different scenes that I wanted to put in. And then some of them I could put in. This is my third book, I think. Or second book, but some I could put in, some were completely incoherent because I had 104-degree fever, but that jumped around a lot. And then book number two actually started as a short story, so I ended up cutting the short story into pieces and putting it through the novel. Generally, I write in order unless a scene jumps out, and then I'll get halfway through and write the end, and then I'll continue in order to the end generally.
Do you generally plot? Or are you a pantster?
I do not plot. I know in my head how I want things to go unless they take a turn for their on their own, like with the characters, but I don't outline. I tried it once and it just didn't click with me. I don't know, it felt less real. So generally I don't plot. Or maybe I am plotting, just not consciously, because some of the things that came out in the first book, in Whisper in the Dark, I didn't initially plan. Like some of the connections with the animals throughout the book to the story weren't initially planned, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, that fits perfectly there." So I think I probably am plotting just subconsciously.
Just not, like, written out point by point type of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you have music that you listen to when you write, or are you,
Yes.
okay.
I do.
What
If I'm writing a really sad scene, I like soundtracks, so I'll try to find a really sad soundtrack. And then there was this song that I listened to for the mom, and it's the song is from what's the movie? Hobbs and the car one. I
Hobbs
can't
and
think of the
Shaw?
movie. Yeah, that so there's a song, Next Level, and then there's another one, Kick the Door Down, which and they're like badass women songs, and I do tend to listen to those when I'm writing a badass woman. So,
That is awesome.
mhm.
Um, do you, uh, have other family members that, have inspired you in adding them as characters in your stories?
Well, my son, who's the one into nature, yeah, I think to some extent, most of the character interaction that I use is based on people I know. I may not specifically pick a person, but the style of interaction might be in there. The silliness or things like that are in there. So I would say except for a few cases where it's a specific person that inspired me, it's usually bits and pieces of everyone.
That is cool. Um, where do you like to go most when you are just thinking and plotting in your head? Is there like a place where you like to go and just be?
Um, if I need to do something like that, usually it has to be a place without people, which as a mom, is not an easy thing to do. But when school is in session, sometimes I'll just kind of sit in my room. We have a little fireplace, and we can see the mountains from one window, and it's right near the fireplace. So I like to sit there. We have like a little bird feeder out there, and that kind of helps me to think more creatively. Um, but yeah, I'll generally just try to find a place that's not too dark or whatever, but that has a window or something like that. Now, what often ends up happening, and it happened with the latest story that I wrote, is that I'll feel like I almost have it, but I don't. I almost have it, but I don't. And if I know I have a deadline, or if I know that I just need to get this going, sometimes I'll dream about it, like you said, like you were saying before, I'll dream it because I think our brain's trying to work stuff out while we're sleeping, and so sometimes I'll just have a really vivid dream, and then I'll be, that is what I wanted, and I have learned that you have to write those down immediately because you think you're going to remember, and then 10 minutes passes and the whole dream is gone.
Oh yeah.
So I have learned to write down what I want. I have stuff by my bed where I can just grab it and write it down, or on my phone if I'm walking the dog or something like that, which is another thing I like to do to think is walk the dog, because here in Colorado, we have these gorgeous paths in gulches, no roads anywhere. You see deer, sometimes there are, what are the not prairie dogs,
Mhm.
the antelope, the pronghorn deer and stuff like that. And so it just walking out with nobody around and just the woods and the nature helps me to think too.
That is awesome. And I just realized four of the most wonderful authors I've got to talk to on this show, or yeah, on the show, are in Colorado.
Oh wow, there's quite a group here. I did a signing event with three. Well, it was supposed to be three, but one couldn't make it, sadly, with two other women in horror. And right now I'm reading a wonderful cerebral arc by an author, a Colorado woman horror writing author. And so there's a good community here for sure.
Oh yeah. There you have an amazing group of people and some awesome creative people, whether they write books or they make things like little
Mhm.
wooden sculptures and so many other things. The sculptures came to mind because this wonderful truck stop I was at the last time I got to go through.
Mhm.
And and the landscape is gorgeous and the people are amazing.
Yes.
Um that That is so cool though, to meet so many and get to bring them on. What has been as an author, what has been the one thing that you hope to experience again with your fans?
So I'm going to two conferences this year, and also because I used to live in Indiana, Books and Brews is in near Indianapolis in August, and that's going to be amazing. I cannot wait because I have not personally met the other authors who publish with my publisher at Wicked House Publishing. We talk all the time, we chat all the time, but I get to actually meet them this summer, and that is
That
going
is
to be
so
awesome.
cool.
And StokerCon I'm going to too in June, and that's in New England, which is where my parents are and my brother, so I get to visit them. So my favorite thing with readers is interacting face to face, and when people come up, like if I'm doing a book signing and they come up and they talk about it, especially if they want to write. That is one of my very favorite things, to have someone young come up and, hey, I'm trying to start out and write too. That is my favorite thing ever, because you can see how excited they are, and I want to hear what their story is. And I love it. I love the interaction, and I'm an introvert. I am by no means an extrovert, but when it comes to talking with readers and mingling with other writers and things like that, my introvert settles down for a moment so I can get things done. Now, after a conference, I generally have to close myself in a room for a while, because when you throw an introvert into a crowd of people, they may be okay for the moment, but as soon as they're on their own, you kind of have to settle again. And
Depleted social battery.
yes, exactly. But I love depleting it. It's just I need a minute to build it back up after the fact.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand that feeling. And yes, viewers, please check out Wicked House Publishing. I have read so many books. I am in the process of collecting the books. Any book that is put out by them, I want. I've enjoyed them. Some of them have literally given me nightmares, and I've enjoyed that. And other one, and then sometimes I get the joy of saying, "I got this. Read it now." Because that's what I did with my mother-in-law earlier. I'm like, "Hey, Whisper in the Dark, read it, please." That's
Thank
also the
you.
best thing about having a mother-in-law. I get to share any of the books I read with her, and vice versa.
Mhm. Sadly, I can't do that because my mother-in-law does not read English. But she has shared with me, and I think it's actually behind me, there is a wonderful horror writer, Italian, and he's up there, Donato Carisi. There are translations of his books, but I have never read the translations, so I don't know how, like, I'm sure they're good because his writing is phenomenal, but it's different reading something in someone's own writing and the translation of the
Oh yeah.
writing. So, but he also has his stuff has been made into movies, and the cool thing about the movies that I found of his, one is the La ragazza nella nebbia, which is the girl in the fog.
Mhm.
I think it was that one, where you have different characters. Like Dustin Hoffman was in one of his movies, or one of the adaptations of his movies, and he was speaking English, and the Italians are speaking Italian, and they were just talking like they understood each other. That was the coolest thing. No well, I mean, you could get subtitles on it, but I didn't have the subtitles on, but they were just speaking their own languages and understanding each other, which I thought was super cool. So my mother-in-law shares books with me that she can get over there and sends me, but her she doesn't read in English, so until mine get translated, I can't do that. So
I hope that soon. I hope she gets to enjoy them because and thank you for sharing him with us.
oh no,
Um,
he's awesome.
what is the one author, if they put something out, you must buy and read?
So when Donato Carisi puts something out, I need it. And so I'll look and see if I can get it and it's not, $1 million because they're sending it from Italy. And if I can't get it, then my mother-in-law usually gets it at the local bookstore and sends it to me. When we go over there, I always ask. There's a little bookstore in this, because she lives in a village and there's like villages nearby. There's this little bookstore in the village, and that's the first place I want to go. And I always ask them, does he have anything new out? And then if he doesn't, and I'm sad, they'll suggest something else. And I love bookstores where they know the books that they're selling, the little local bookstores. They always come up with something good. But he is one of my
Oh yeah,
favorites.
I can honestly say that the one we had in Flat Rock, no, Trenton, Georgia, the one we had in Trenton, Georgia, the Jay always had great things to share. He would always give me like, "Hey, I knew you'd be coming back, so I put the stack here." And then I just leave with a stack of books because Jay is like, "Hey, you want these? They're
Mhm.
what you
Yeah, he
want."
knows.
But
He knows. Yeah.
and I just hope everybody finds a bookstore like that.
Mhm. And also another suggestion is, so I joined 4, book clubs. Now I maybe wouldn't recommend joining 4, but the thing is when they started the horror book club, which I was pushing for, kinda had to join that one, even though I was already in 3 other ones. And actually I was in an online one, but I dropped that because I just couldn't keep up. But the book clubs, and they're all different genres, have pushed me to read books that I probably would not have found on my own.
Oh
So
yeah.
I recommend joining book clubs. And if you have a horror book club, which we now have, that's been awesome.
Oh
Finding
yeah.
new authors.
That is one of my favorite things to do. That's how actually I ended up finding out about so many Wicked House authors. I just followed one and it's like bouncing.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that and anthologies. So when we were selling our anthology, The Monsters in the Mills, our pitch was it's the beer flight of horror authors. You go through it, you find an author that you like, and then you can look up all their other stuff. So you get to sample all these different authors and their works, and that's how you find your favorite author, your next favorite author.
Oh yeah. And or you just like stick with the publishing company that
Yes,
finds like the best
yes.
authors. Hence why I'm like, ooh, Wicked House Publishing. What are they doing now? Hey, what you up to? So yeah.
Mhm, they're awesome too. I have to say that I at the same time had 2 different publishing companies that were interested in the book. I am so not, not to say anything about the other company, but I'm so glad I went with Wicked House Publishing, but because it has been nothing but a wonderful experience, both with the author, the publishers, the editors, everyone.
Oh yeah. I love finding author well, I love finding publishing house like that. It's like whenever you told me about Books and Brews, I hope
Mhm.
you end up I'm not saying publish with them, but I hope you end up finding the Cursed Dragon owners and authors and just talk with them because they are such a wonderful group of people that have went or probably will go back to that
Awesome.
thing and they're just to talk to them that has been one of my
Mhm.
favorite things. So
Well, and
um
this year they're having a lot of socials, so the
mhm.
authors can mingle more and get to meet other people and, publishing houses and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to
May you find some amazing people.
it.
um
I'm sure I will.
let's see. Trying to go through the list again. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Because I had so many things I wanted to ask, and I'm hoping I'm not probing too far in any direction. But
Now,
I'm just so happy to talk to you. Okay, did we talk about this one?
this one it was actually an invitation to write for an
Uh huh.
anthology. So it was a little bit new. Now I had been invited to the Monsters in the Mills, but that one they needed a poem, which I am not a poet, but I did my best. They liked it, so I guess I am a poet. Um, this was a short story in a theme. And as soon like I like to write all sorts of different things, but as soon as somebody tells you you have to write this, I find that a little more difficult. So I
Mhm.
did struggle a little bit initially, and that's why I researched this little Italian town and found something I wanted to write about. But these are amazing writers. MJ Mars is another Wicked House um, publishing author. She wrote the Suffering.
Oh yeah.
So, amazing group of writers, and I am so happy to have been asked and to be included in this anthology.
Oh yeah.
Um, so basically, I would say the catch line or the pitch for my short story in this book
Uh huh.
would be that sometimes a web spreads throughout the centuries to catch its prey.
That is awesome.
And that's all I can say.
Okay, because I saw your name and I saw Jay Mazer, and
Mhm.
I don't know the rest of the authors, but just you and Jay Mazer are definite. I need this book because I have loved everything Jay Mazer has written, and
I
she is
cannot wait to read the other stories. I haven't
so
got to
much
see
fun.
the other stories yet. I cannot wait to read the other stories.
Oh yeah, that is one of my favorite things about joining an anthology. You get to see it before it goes out.
Mhm. And the
Uh,
cover, I saw the cover today. Today was my first time seeing the cover. Amazing.
oh yeah, I got it, and then I saw when you shared it on the page, and then I reshared it. I'm like, no, we should probably bring this on the show because I've been sharing your other book covers, and I've talked and I've put like a favorite quote on like one of the pages, and then on another page another favorite quote, and then of course since they give you this highlight thing in Kindle,
Mhm.
I'm like, I love this line. You must love it too. Oh, and this line, this was great too. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
Um okay. What is one because I know a lot of authors have things they hope fans find out about them and their work. Is there anything particular you hope the fans know about your work that you wish more knew
Hmm.
about?
Um, I don't know. Uh, I mean, I would like anyone who's a fan or a reader to know that they can always reach out to me. I love hearing from people and chatting with them and answering them. And, if you come to an event or you see me, please come up and say hi. I love saying hi to people and meeting new readers. I do have this is one thing they should know. I do have a little bit of a hearing disability because of the condition I have. So if we're in a really crowded environment and I always feel bad asking someone to repeat themselves multiple times, but I may have to do that, but I'll do my best.
Oh yeah. And she has been so nice in talking to. She has been she didn't she was so kind whenever I asked her to come on the show. She is just one of the kindest, most wonderful ladies. So,
Thank you.
yes, I hope uh you all find something you love that she's written or read it all and enjoy it. Where do you want people to find you and your work?
So I'm on socials. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm also on Blue Sky now, which I actually had someone just randomly find me on Blue Sky, buy the book and review it and everything, and then gave a shout, hey, I found this author on Blue Sky. So I'm on all of those and LinkedIn. And then I have a website, elizabethdevecchi.com. And on the website, you can see first of all, on the first page of the website is the book trailer that my daughter made for Whisper in the Dark. And she is currently getting ready to make a book trailer for A Twist of the Lens, book two. So that was a little more complicated, but we're already pitching ideas back and forth on how she's going to make that. And then you can go to the different pages and see the anthologies, short stories, and other stuff that's out there.
That is awesome. And if you would like to find me, I'm at the usual places. Owlite. I'm at Fake Horror. I'm at Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. And if you actually would like to read my stuff, my author page is Jennifer
Awesome.
Elliott.
Yes. And by the way, I am very into owls. So we
Yes,
have owls. There's the owl that my son gave me for Christmas to take to book signings. Love owls.
that is awesome. And now you've been a guest on the Owlite Network. That
Exactly.
we love the Midnight Society collectively. Did you ever listen to or watch the show Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Maybe. Maybe. There's a like so when was it out?
In the 90s?
Okay, so there's kind of like a spot where I missed some stuff because I moved to Italy in 1990, and then I lived there for 8 years. So some of
Okay.
the stuff that came out here in the 90s, I missed and then caught when I came back, and then I was rewatching stuff that because back then stuff took a while before it was, translated or where it went to, and they dubbed stuff really well in Italy, but it took a while to get over there. Now it's pretty much instantaneous. Stuff comes out the same in most countries at the same time. But
Mhm.
back then, so there's kind of like a hole in the 90s where I've had to go back and find stuff that I missed while I was living over there.
Okay. The Midnight Society was their storytelling group in the Are You Afraid the Dark series. And
Mhm.
well, that's copyrighted. So Owlite isn't. And it basically means midnight. So
Right.
therefore, we are the Owlite Society of the Owlite Network. But we
Awesome.
share stories, and our whole entire thing is sharing stories,
Right.
sharing things about anything from wrestling to cryptids. We
Mhm.
are everywhere, and whether it's comic books or novels, we want uh, all parts of creativity shared.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome. I love running into the creative societies in all different nooks and crannies of the world.
me too. It has been so wonderful. But thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
And
for having me.
I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you.